So this Friday, my wife and I will have been married 50 years. This is Steve Ridgel, and people are always asking because, 50 is kind of a big thing. How did you make it, and what have you learned? And so on Friday, our actual anniversary, I'll post a video telling you the exact reason we've made it 50 years. But I thought today I might tell you four things we've learned to say through 50 years of marriage that I think have really helped us to make it this long. So here are the four sayings if you will learn to say these in your marriage, well, you too might make it to 50 years. One is say I love you. You always say I love you. We end every phone call with I love you. We walk out the door, we say I love you. It has become such a habit, and we don't take it for granted, but we just want to be sure the other one knows you are loved. Now, I admit it's occasionally awkward when somebody on my church staff hears me in my conversation with love you, and I have a couple of salesmen that probably won't call me back, but it's because I'm so used to telling Marcia when I hang up, I love you. You cannot say that enough. Everybody needs to know they are loved. Number two, I think you say a whole lot, I'm sorry. Nobody's perfect marriage. You don't make it to 50 years without having some ups and downs. Now, some of ours have been more extreme than maybe some of yours will ever be. But you need to learn to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I was thoughtless there. I'm sorry I didn't do what I said there. I'm sorry I know this is important to you and I did not. Boy, learn to say I'm sorry. And hand in hand with that, learn to say you're forgiven. In some ways, I think that's one of the most valuable things any marriage says. I forgive you. Because if you're going to make it very long in marriage, and certainly if you're going to make it to 50 years, you've got to forgive the other one for lots of stuff. Because, see, none of us are perfect. You want to be forgiven, and you need to extend that grace to them. So say, I love you. Say, I'm sorry. Say, you're forgiven. And the fourth one that we've really learned to say a lot lately is thank you. Sometimes I just walk by Marcia and say, hey, thank you for being my wife. Thank you for raising our kids. Thank you for fixing breakfast. Thank you for supper. Thank you for doing. And she does that to me. Thank you for doing the yard. Thank you for taking care of it. Thank you for being. Thank you for. Well, don't ever take each other for granted. And learning to say thank you helps with that. So I would tell you, if you're looking for a way to really make your marriage rich and deep and happy, learn to say these four things. I love you. I'm sorry. You're forgiven. And thank you. And that'll go a long way to making your marriage what you'd like it to be and what I think God wants it to be, because every one of those statements actually comes from our Christian faith. I love you. I'm sorry. You're forgiven. And thank you. So, to my wife, Marcia, here in just a few days when we celebrate 50 years, if the Lord doesn't come back and we live those 4 days till the end of in 50 years. So here's to my wife. I love you. I'm sorry. I forgive you and thank you.